Another really interesting one. This is a vision that the Lord gave me on March 29th, 2021. He showed me this huge, massive mountain that looked like it was covered in snow towards the top. And then, but it was so tall that you couldn't even see the top, like it was above the clouds. And so I had to zoom out and just kept zooming out and zooming out, and like how big this huge mountaintop was. And it was just barely peeking out above the clouds. And then he would zoom in to the bottom, or like the base of the mountain, where all of these big boulders had fallen, and it was super messy. You could just tell like it was just kind of all of these rocks that had fallen down. It looked really, I was standing at the bottom of this big huge mountain, so I looked puny compared to like the rest of the mountain that stood above me. And I was just standing there looking up like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? This thing is huge. I can't climb it. Like, I don't even, this is just so intimidating. What the heck am I supposed to do with this? And so I just kind of found myself, standing down there at the bottom, and I began to close my eyes, and I pictured all of these different like textbooks, that like huge, massive textbooks that were like kind of working their way up the base of the mountain. And each one of them had something written on like this stem, I don't know, the side of it, I guess, where you could read like what the title of the book would have been called. Except each thing that was written on these books, and like some were different levels and like different heights and everything, were like different things that I was worrying about, different anxieties, different fears, different just my own insecurities, and the books were labeled with those, and they were working their way up the base of this mountain. And so some of them were bigger, some of them were smaller, some of them were heavy, some of them were light. And so I was, just standing there with this huge book, these piles of books in front of me, when all of a sudden I thought it was like the boulder that I was standing on started to raise up, but I realized it was actually like a big, huge hand. It was like a palm of a hand that I had been standing in, and it started to lift me up, and it just started to, slowly get me, above these big piles of books. And then it would, like, as it helped me, then it would like the hand would like pick those books away, like pick one up and put it away and pick another one up. And so like the pile of books was getting smaller and smaller, and I could like see myself getting higher and higher up this mountain. And that there was, kind of at a certain point, there was a couple different paths that you could take to get to the top. One that kind of went around, and one that was zigzag, and one that was straight. And there was a couple different paths that I had seen that could, would lead you to the top of this mountain. And so I, kind of jumped off this hand, jumped on this path, and decided that I was going to do like zigzag my way all the way up the top of this mountain. And so I started running up the mountain, and I could see myself getting tired, and I would sit down and I'd rest for a minute, and then I'd get myself up and run a little bit more, and then I'd get tired and I'd have to rest a little bit, and then I would run a little bit more, and then I would get tired and have to rest. And this continued for, it felt like a long time of me like trying to zigzag my way up the top of this mountain. And until eventually I peeked through the clouds and had made it to the top. It was like what was in front of me was too bright to see, but that there was a bright light on top of the mountain, and it was like I knew like I had accomplished whatever it was that I was doing. Like, you hit the top, you achieved it, you're there, you accomplished it. But I could see myself doubled over, and I was just absolutely exhausted. Like, just, I couldn't breathe. My legs gave out. I was just completely exhausted, but at the same time, like, I could just feel like, that level of accomplishment and that feeling of being proud of yourself. But then, what I kind of felt like the Lord was trying to show me is that if I, like the hand, like He holds us in the palm of His hand. He knows us. He knows everything about us. And all of those textbooks and all of those worries, are kind of like blocking this huge path, the life plans that He has for you. And as we kind of like rest and remain in Him and in His hand, He can take those worries away. Like, we can cast our worries, we can cast our burdens on Him. We don't have to try to crawl up these or try to pull them out, or try to deal with them on our own. If we rest in His hand, that is where our peace comes from. That is where our security comes from, that is where our protection comes from, and then he can remove any obstacle in our path. And
Alright, hey guys, this is Kaylee. So I was realizing while I was editing that this video that, this was the video that my phone ran out of storage and it just like stopped halfway through. So I didn't even realize where I had gotten myself cut off. So I think I mostly kind of finished my thought process with that word from the Lord and from that vision, but I didn't want to leave you hanging and make you feel like, something happened on your computer or your phone that it just kind of ended abruptly. So I guess I just wanted to come back and say thanks for listening to all of these words and visions and for, just kind of going on this ride with me. And I have a whole lot more that I'm excited to share with you. So I guess just be on the lookout for a couple more videos. They're all kind of longer right now. I'm hopeful that they, start to get a little shorter and shorter. And then there was also a couple different scriptures that I felt like as I was praying over these that the Lord had kind of given me. So I'm going to include those in like the description box underneath, um, just so that you have some encouraging scripture to go ahead and read over yourself as well. But I guess until next time, I hope you guys all have a blessed day, and thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you later.